I'm Charlotte with Refined Substance. I'm here on the ground at the mining investment event in Quebec City. I'm here with Jeff Swinoga, mining executive. How are you doing? Great to see you.
Great. Well, Charlotte, you do a great job in your videos. So thanks again for taking the time to interview myself.
Absolutely, no, my pleasure. So let's get into it. You have quite an extensive background in the mining industry. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about your background?
Okay, well, I'll keep it short, but I've been mining for about 28 years. I started off with Barrick Gold for about seven, had been minerals, North American Palladium, Golden Star, Torex, First Mining, National Mining, Meat, Ernst& Young, Exploits Discovery. I'm on 4 boards right now, actually. So I'm on the board of Radisson, which has been great. Also executive chair for ICG Silver and Gold. We just went public about a month and a half ago. Also on the board of Lafleur and as chair of Scandinavia Canada, which is a fantastic rare project in Quebec.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I also saw you at PDAC, and I know that you're working closely with them. So you're at PDAC, you're at here. What are you seeing on the floor during meetings?
Well, I've seen a bit of a shift change, to be quite honest. So there's been a number of like going back even like a decade. I'm not going to belabor the point of the decade, but things have really moved forward. I'm really seeing generalist investors come into the sector, learning more about projects, capital being more accessible. I'm actually seeing because it's great to talk to mining companies and investors and going back when times were a little bit tough, it's not so long ago the times were tough. Like 2023 was a tough
Right.
year, and that's literally 3 years ago, right? But there was more talk about how do you raise money. There's a little more pressure on companies to try and deliver results with less resources. You know what I'm saying? So now we're seeing a situation where capital is a little more available. Investors are more interested. We're seeing more meetings happen between people, between companies as well. So I think there's a level of consistency in the messaging that people are talking about, if you know what I mean. Like they're basically saying this is what it's going to take to get here, as opposed to we don't have the money, we're going to get the money, and then this is going to happen. If this happens, but having funds available now, they actually can start delivering results that are more tangible, if that makes sense, and you actually can track how companies are doing. So I find that really we're in a really good space right now.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I completely agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
So with the past companies that you've tracked, looking at your best investments, what characteristics did those companies have in common before the market realized their value?
Yeah. So when I look at companies that I've got involved with, either as an investor or as an executive, I really looked at project was really important, but also looking at what is it, gold, is it silver, is it copper, is it PGMs and so forth, graphite. So it's really important to understand a longer term view. There's sort of the macro view of things, right? And then you get into what does the project look like? Is it expandable? Is it near a major? I used to work at major companies, but now I'm more into the junior space now. I find it a little more exciting because you get a little more juice out of what's going on, a little more excitement, high beta, if you want to call it. So it's really so if you look at the what space you want to be in, then you look at the project, and then who are you going to work with? What's the management team look like? And I have to say, like management teams, if you don't know mining, management teams have really improved over time. We do have an issue with folks getting older. We need younger folks in mining, and I'm also on the board of PDAC. So I'm a big fan of trying to lure younger people into mining because that's what we need. We need fresh eyes and new blood. But I think there's been a real good elevation of management teams than they were in the past. Yeah.
That's a great point. No, thank you. And finally, you touched on this a little bit in our previous question, but what investment principle has remained true through every mining cycle that you've been a part of?
Well, great question, and I have to say it's capital because even going back 20, 30 years, you have these cycles and being able to ride out the cycle when in a downtime, being able to keep that optionality of the property alive is really important. Consolidation is important, all that sort of things, but making sure that you have access to funds. And what that means is that you're talking to people, you're sharing what you're doing. You're doing a lot of great stuff on the ground, but are you actually communicating? So communication is really important to show people what you're doing
Because I find, you know what, if you can create the excitement that you have at site, that we typically see at a mine site visit or something, and actually bring it back to people and communicate, whether it's people joining the mining sector, whether it's investors, whether it's executives thinking about joining project, that 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 excitement needs to be felt. So that's what I think is really important. Access to capital, but also that communication to get access to that capital, if that makes sense.
No, it does completely.
Yeah.
Really insightful. Thank you so much, Jeff. I
Oh,
really
thanks,
appreciate
Charlotte.
your
You're doing a
time.
great job.
This is Refined Substance on the ground. I'll talk to you later.